Hey guys, this is Justin from Co-Optimus. I am here with Chris from Turtle Rock Studios. We are talking Evolve. Huge game in terms of cooperative play, sort of blends the co-op and multiplayer into one. Give us the like 30-second spiel on it. Why should we look forward to Evolve?
So I guess on the one side, on the human side, it's 4-player co-op, like you said, but we've got classes and very specific roles. You lose any one of those guys, and your whole team starts to fall apart. Then on the other team, we've got a boss monster, and that's where I guess things can get really different. Is one of your buddies or some guy online can be the boss monster.
Okay, cool. So when you're playing, you can't necessarily, or maybe you don't even want to, double up on classes, like have 2 medics and ditch one of the other ones.
Right, you can't double up. It's a losing scenario. We tried it, and because if you double up on 2 medics, then you lose somebody else. It's always 4-player, and like I said, every role is vital. The trapper controls the monster and lets him not get away, and assault deals the damage, medic heals, support defends and protects the team. So if you lose one of those roles, it's kind of game over.
It's just all downhill.
Yeah.
So in terms of sort of learning how to play then, so I really love Assault, let's say, but Locke here also loves Assault. One of us is going to have to do something else.
Right.
If one of them is sort of weak, if Locke's a terrible medic, is our whole team going to suffer, or can we kind of pick up the slack?
That's one of the great things about co-op is that you don't carry the entire burden of your team for sure. You know, your other guys on your team can carry some of that weight. Everybody can deal damage, right? So it's not just up to Assault.
Be over before it started for you!
This is why we hunt as a pack!
Everybody can sort of pick up the slack, and that's where, depending on what type of player you are, like if you're really the lone wolf and you don't like to lean on other people, then you're really gonna attach yourself to the monster slot. But if you're one of those guys, if you're sort of traditionally like co-op, then really, being a hunter is where your home is.
Okay, cool. So then now talking co-op, let's say that we want to just go against an AI, and I know the monster can be controlled by AI, so it's me and my 4 friends, and we don't want to fight a human. Is there different sort of difficulties for that? Does the monster level up similarly? Have you seen, like, comparing the AI to comparing a person play? Is it very different?
So the monsters AI, it's a full simulation. So if you know anything about Evolve, the monster starts small and has to kill and eat wildlife in order to grow bigger and bigger, right? And eventually he can grow big enough and strong enough to where he can take the fight back to the hunters. Hunters want to stop him from doing that. So one of the nice things about our AI is that it's a very dynamic AI, and you can play it 100 times and it's going to make different decisions, and it's going to play differently. It's live, it's procedural, it's not going to be a scripted fight by any means, and the monster's actually out there in the world killing wildlife and eating and getting energy and growing, and so it's very much like playing a human opponent.
Great, awesome. On the flip side, if I'm just one person without an internet, can I fight 4 AI-controlled hunters?
Yes.
You
can
okay.
also, and you can be a hunter and have 3 bot teammates and fight against an AI monster as well. So any sort of combination works with any mix of people.
Nice, cool. So, how many maps are you shipping with?
We're shipping with over a dozen.
Over a dozen, okay.
And multiple game modes. We've only shown hunt so far, but we do have other game modes.
Okay, cool. And then as I'm playing as my hunter does from mission to mission, do I sort of level up and acquire more guns and gear and stuff like that, or is it all in the single match?
Each character is kind of locked down with their gear, and so we've got multiple characters in any given class. So if you do want to be Assault, there's multiple characters to choose from in there, and they all represent a particular play style.
This is fun!
Right, and that sort of informs the way the character looks and the way they act and feel. So so you'll be able to choose within multiple characters within that class.
Awesome. Now, most important question, what is your favorite class to play as, including the monster, out of all the 5?
It's tough. I gravitate a lot towards Trapper.
Okay.
And part of the reason is because I can't stand to chase the monster very much, and that's Trapper's job, is to stop him. So you cut the monster off, you trap him in a mobile arena, which is this big dome, and then your team's able to fight. It forces a boss fight, even when the boss doesn't want to fight. You can force it, right? And so I like to be since I focus on that job, I do it really well, and that's where I like to shut the monster down. So that's kind of my role.
Awesome. So in terms of in the monster, I've heard that essentially there's some player choice in sort of how you're going to evolve as the monster.
Right.
It's not just the same every time. So you can kind of put skill points into different areas in the very beginning, and then go from there, right?
Right.
So today we saw the Kraken monster.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about some of his like starting abilities?
So all monsters have 4 abilities, and each ability has kind of 3 levels that you can put points into. So and you get 3 points to spend every time that you stage up. So a level 1 monster, you could go really deep on one ability. You could put all 3 points into one ability, but then you've only got one ability, right? You better be good with that ability, and you better not need the others for anything else, because you've gone all in, right, on one. But you can spread those points out, and you can get 3 abilities that are all level 1s, and now you've got a lot of versatility, but you don't have a lot of power, offensive power. So the thing is, it allows, if you were a monster and I was a monster and we were playing against some of our buddies, our monsters would play differently because you build yours differently than I build mine. So Kraken, for example, has a lightning strike, which is very much what it sounds like. It's a charged energy, and you get to aim it for a while, and hunters try to dodge it, and then when it goes off, it really hurts. He's got a vortex blast, which pushes people back, so it's really good for controlling hunter movement. Got banshee mines, which you can shoot down, and they home in and follow targets, and the hunters have to try to shoot them, and those are great for taking the damage off of you. You'd rather have them shooting these things instead of shooting you. And then we've got aftershock. And the big thing about Kraken is that Kraken flies, and so it's a flying monster in Evolve, and Aftershock is really powerful, and it's an AoE effect, but it comes from Kraken. So what happens is, in order to use it, you got to get in close. So you'll see a lot of monster players using the ranged attacks, and then when everybody groups up, then they'll charge in and land right in the middle of the pack and do the Aftershock attack. But that's where Kraken gets into trouble, because he'll get caught up in the Trapper's snares and Bucket sentry guns, and so it's sort of the danger zone, so it's kind of a risk-reward ability.
Yeah. And are there, depending on like what map you choose, does that determine the monster, or can any monster sort of play in any map?
So we're big on player choice, and we didn't want to limit that at all. So, besides what we have to do for like classes, as we previously discussed. But yeah, monster player gets to choose whatever monster they want to be in any map, and it's the same for the hunters. They get to take their pick, as long as they have them unlocked. We do have a progression system. We haven't gone into too much details about, but you start off with Goliath and the first 4 hunters that we showed originally. And now at E3, we have the next set of we have 4 more hunters that we're showing, and we're showing Kraken, and so you'll be able to unlock Kraken. You'll start with Goliath, and then you'll unlock Kraken.
Awesome. When is it coming out? When can we expect it?
It's October 21st, this fall.
On PS4, Xbox One, and PC?
Yes.
All right. This is Justin with Co-Optimus with Chris. Look forward to Evolve coming this fall.